ಮಾಧುರಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ.
Okay, ma'am. Start madam, ma'am.
ಲೈವ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
Okay, ma'am. We delight in the beauty of butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. Good afternoon, one and all. This is Sai Madhuri, Creative Volunteer, welcoming you all to the 158th episode of Creative Weekend Talks. Creative is a team of people gathered together to share and gain knowledge. Stay active and be creative. Hence, we are creative. Non textual, non syllabus, and non academic concepts are mainly focused in our weekend talks. Building constructive thinking on various domains is the vision of creative. Every Saturday, our weekend talks will be conducted using a Zoom platform and are live streamed through YouTube channel Creative GBD. Today, today's talk is on biodiversity of butterflies in India. To present this talk, we have Miss Yukta, a young speaker, with us now. To give a brief introduction about Yukta ma'am, we have Afrin, creative volunteer. Afrin, are you there?
Haka.
Over to Afrin.
To one and all present here, I am Afrin, a creative volunteer. Today I am here to introduce today's speaker, Miss Yukta JG. At present, she is pursuing her fourth year BSMS dual degree at IISE Pune, major in biology. Her academic interest including ecology, animal behavior, psychology, conservation biology, and political ecology. In accordance with research interest, she did a project on the ecology in summer. Her internship included field work for 1.5 months in Sanag village, Arunachal Pradesh. She worked on biodiversity of butterflies, moths, and odonats. And further, after pursuing her graduation, she is interested in her research future work. We welcome you, ma'am, for today's creative function. I welcome all who are present for today's section. Over to Madhuri Akka.
Thank you, Afrin. Hope this session will be colorful as butterflies. Yukta ma'am, are you there?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am. You can proceed, ma'am.
So, is my slide visible again? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, I'm going to start off. First of all, thank you for the platform and letting me give a talk. Yeah. Biodiversity of butterflies. So first, I'm gonna start off by introducing how butterflies are and their anatomy and all. So basic structure, they have a head, like thorax and abdomen, and then the forewings and the hind wings are attached to the thorax. And then they have a proboscis. Basically, it's a tube where they suck in nectar and minerals. And they have antenna and then 6 legs. A basic anatomy of an insect. And then moving on to the wings. So butterflies normally sit by closing their wings whenever they sit on plants or on the land. So we can see the underside and the upper side of the butterfly. So this is one butterfly where the underside and the upper side pattern remains the same. And the second scenario is where the underside and the upper side patterns completely differ, and they do it sometimes to camouflage from their predators. One of the examples is this orange oak leaf. The underside looks like a dry leaf, which is like it's very difficult to spot when you're in the field. And the upper side is has very vibrant color. Uh, it's a very beautiful butterfly. And moving on. So butterflies like are insects, so they are cold-blooded. So they can't regulate their body temperature. So and they need heat for their metabolic activities to run. So sunlight is like really important for insects. So how do they thermoregulate? So they bask under the sun. Butterflies do this lateral basking because since they actually sit on plants by closing their wings, their underside will be facing the sun. So that's why it's called lateral basking. But unlike butterflies, moths actually open their wings and sit. So theirs will be dorsal basking. And there's another family uh, in butterfly, which is a rare family, which actually sits in a particular angle, like in let's say suppose a 45-degree angle between 90 to 0. So that would be reflectance basking. So this is how the lateral basking of butterflies looks like. The underside is normally exposed to the sun. And other way of thermoregulation is they vibrate their wings. So the movement normally causes heat generation in the body. And uh, when there's no sunlight, mostly butterflies are very sluggish and inactive. So night times you don't end up seeing them everywhere and on the cloudy days. But you do see sometimes near the light. Uh, Mostly they're moths, but very rarely you spot butterflies near the lights. That is interesting observation. And mud puddling. So it is a behavior uh, where butterflies gather near damp places or on dead bodies so that they suckle minerals from these places. And this is really important for males, especially because it helps them for reproductive success. So these dissolved salts and minerals are helpful for releasing pheromones, which where these pheromones are uh, important since they attract females. And so after the mating, sorry, during the mating, these dissolved salts and nutrients actually is transferred to the female's body so that the survival rates of the eggs are also increased. And females don't mud puddle, so that's why the minerals and salts are transferred by males during reproduction. So this is a photo during mating. This is a Jezebel butterfly. You can see the male butterfly with clasps, and females do not have clasps. Clasps is just like an opening like this, basically. So you can differentiate males by just observing the tip of the abdomen. And if you just press the abdomen a bit, the clasp opens up. So the above individual is actually a male. And you can also differentiate between males and female by looking at their hind wing patterns, actually. And towards the right is the butterfly life cycle. So butterflies lay their eggs on leaves, and then there's a caterpillar grown and they feed on the host plant. Every every butterfly has their own specific host plant. Few species might have the same host plant, but uh, uh, they are very specific to a particular host plant. And so the grows into chrysalis, and then chrysalis is not pupa because pupa has a silk covering outside it, but chrysalis does not. And then chrysalis then grows into a butterfly. So normally butterfly's lifespan is about like from 4 weeks to around a few months, because few small butterflies' lifespan is quite low. It would be around 3 weeks to 4 weeks, but then few big butterflies, especially a family from nymphalids, they hibernate for a few months, and uh, so their lifespan is quite long, and they also migrate. So yeah. Um, so male versus female wing patterns. So one way of wing patterns in male and female is just there's the differentiation of like a few spots or something. So this is an example of uh, a common bird wing. Towards the left is a male bird wing where in the hind wing you don't see a lot of black spots, and in the forewing there isn't any white streaks. But then in the female towards the right, you can see the uh, black spots clearly on the hindwing and white streaks in the forewing. This is how you differentiate while spotting these butterflies in the field. Because when we are recording the specimen data, we would try to differentiate if it's a male or female. And another example is this. It's a common mormon. Towards the left of the male with just white spots in a line, and the forewing and hindwing is mostly black. Then towards the right, you can see the red spots in the hindwing and white streaks and white shade in the forewing. But there are few other species of butterflies where the male and the female looks completely different. This is one of the example, Daniel X-fly. The male has like four prominent spots on the forewing and hindwing combined, but the female is orange, which is mimicking a few other butterflies. Mimicry is done in a way. Sorry, mimicry is done mostly to protect yourself from the predators. Um, so, so yeah. So this is a female X-ray mimicking one of the butterflies. This is not found in India. This is called monarch. Uh, but yeah. And another one is striped tiger, and another one is plain tiger. These all look very similar. So this is something called as Mullerian mimicry, because all these species are unpalatable and uh, they're mimicking. But when it comes to Batesian mimicry, there is a clear differentiation of a species mimicking the model species being non-toxic. Um, but this is the Mullerian mimicry. And few moths also mimic butterflies, and it's very difficult to differentiate in that case. But you would normally not be able to differentiate between moth and a butterfly when you're not expert or like don't know about that field. But yeah, so I just want to talk about what is the difference between a butterfly and a moth. So moths normally fly in the night, so they are nocturnal, and butterflies mostly fly in the morning. And but uh, moths are still insects, so they still want light. So you would see a lot of moths near the tube lights and all, which we would normally mistaken to be butterflies. And the seating position, sorry, sitting position. No, butterflies normally close their wings and sit, but then moths normally open their wings and sit. There are a lot of exceptions, but this is a common characteristic. Moths have a silk covering outside. Moth caterpillars are hairy, and butterfly caterpillars are not hairy. Sometimes butterfly caterpillars mimic snakes. They look very similar to snakes if you observe butterfly caterpillars. So butterflies have clubbed antenna and moths do not have clubbed antenna. The shape of the antenna when it comes to moths is it varies. One of the example is a feathery kind of antenna. I don't know if it's visible in this picture, but yeah, but uh, butterflies do not have like a feathery antenna. It's mostly like a, just like a line or like a strip kind of thing. Yes. And scales. So moths are very scaly compared to butterflies, and these moth scales can be very allergic also. Like they'll have very bad allergic reactions. So you should be very careful with moths. Um, Moving on to families of butterflies in India. There are 7 families, but one family is not found in India. So these are the main 6 families. Hesperid, Lysinid, Nymphalidae, Papillinid, Peridae, and Rheodinid. Rheodinid metalmarks are the rare family. Very few species are found in India. So Hesperid, like I will be describing few characteristics, uh, because in a way I'm also showing how we spot these things uh, when we were in the field, and give an example. So Hesperids are small and uh, they fly in a very funky way. So that's why they're called skippers. This is a winged dart, and even their wing shape is very different compared to the other small butterflies when you see in Lycaon and all. And their eyes are big and prominent. This is a green owlet, and then red eye, and then a pea flood. So Lycaonid is again small butterflies. Uh, they have like very bright colors. The underside seems like in the underside, the hind wing will have uh, like eye spots and a tail, which looks like a head and an antenna, which is in another way of tracking the predators. And their upper side is has very bright colors, especially different shades of blue and all, and they're very shiny. Uh, this is one of the example. It's a line blue. So you can see the eye spot in the hind wing and the tail, which looks like an antenna actually. This is another beautiful butterfly. It's called green underwing. It's from Kashmir. I guess. No, it's from Himachal. Uh, this is orange bordered argus. It does not have an eye spot and a tail, but uh, the upper side is quite bright. This is red period. The eye spot is not that prominent, but it has tail, and its upper side is completely black and orange stripes in down. Um, Next family is Nymphalidae. They're called brush-footed or four-footed because the front 2 legs are shortened, and it seems like they just have 4 legs. So that's why they're called four-footed. And this family has very beautiful butterflies, and they are very brightly colored. This is Great Nawab. I guess it's mostly found in Arunachal. I'm not sure. Like in the northeast, sorry. And you can see only like 4 legs if you observe the picture. This is Blue Duke and Grey Commodore, and it's a map. Uh, Papillionidae, so these butterflies are normally huge, and they fly. Nymphalidae and papilionid both actually fly in high altitude compared to the other butterflies. And they can be differentiated by having tails like in the hind wing. For example, this Malabar banded peacock. Um, this is endemic to the Western Ghats. I don't think this is actually found in Northeast. Yeah, this is another beautiful butterfly. You can see the tail uh, extending in the hind wing. So that is one of the way how we differentiate them apart from others. This is the lime swallowtail. This is Kesar Hayan. Kesar Hayan is a very rare butterfly. It is found in Arunachal in a place called Pange, and very few people in India have seen this butterfly. E- Even the most known experts in the field haven't seen like few people. This is Sahyadri birdwing. This is actually the state bird of Karnataka, and it's a huge butterfly, Sahyadri birdwing. Peridae, whites and yellows. It's called whites and yellows because most of the butterflies are in the color of yellows and whites, and few are in orange. Yeah. Yeah, this is the chocolate albatross. Uh, great orange tip. Great orange tip. Its caterpillar is a completely green color caterpillar, and it mimics snake a lot if you uh, observe. And then if you try to actually touch it, uh, it will just like open up its throat, like a diaphragm kind of thing, in a way to scare the predators away. This is a wanderer, and this is a Jezebel. Mhm. Uh, Rhodinidae metal marks is a very rare family. There are only one or two species found in Western Ghats in South India, and at least more than 10 species, I guess, are found in Northeast. Uh, Personally, I have not seen in Western Ghats or South India, like especially in Bangalore. Um, uh, and another special thing about this family is, like I said before, they sit in this angle when they bask and all. So they normally don't completely close their wings. Spotted Judy Punchinello is very common in Arunachal Pradesh, and tail Judy. Tail Judy and Spotted Judy are very rare to spot, but Punchinello is quite common. So taxonomy. So taxonomy is the science of naming, describing, and classifying the organisms. Uh, in a way, that's why I was introducing you guys to the six families, and describing about it because it's very important to identify. So, say suppose when we are in field, we just walk through the forest and we have to collect data, in the sense we have to identify the butterflies to actually note down what it is. So I actually didn't know a lot of, like, I didn't know butterfly names. So first we were trained to actually differentiate them based on the families. So as I showed, every family had their own different characteristics. So taxonomy becomes really important to differentiate different families, say species and all. Uh, and you can actually relate later if you know the taxonomy also. So this is just a taxonomy of for butterflies. This is the taxonomy. Like kingdom is Animalia, phylum is Arthropoda, class is Insecta, order is Lepidoptera, and according to the butterflies we are spotting, the family would be the six families I just showed you, and then genus and species. Moving on to India's rich diversity, India has approximately 1,501 species in total. Swallowtails are 107, skippers are 321, whites and yellows are 109, brushfoot butterflies are 521, blues are 443, and metal bugs, apparently they've not given a number because I guess it's a very rare it's very rare family. So, but there are very few though, like 10 or something. So approximately we do have 1,500. This is a family-wise species distribution in Karnataka. Um, so according to this, they have shown the metal mark family, and there's one species. I guess it's Punchinella, and probably I guess there's another one like Judy is also there. I'm not sure. So methods used in fieldwork. So when we are collecting data, um, so we note down whatever butterflies we see. It's mainly done in two ways. So line transect. So line transect is like basically there's a fixed path, and while you're moving through the path, you note down whichever species you see, and try to get the number also at that particular point, and say suppose if it's a male or a female. But the problem with this is you can actually encounter the same individual uh like while you're moving forward or something. So you would be repeating the same count again and again. But still you would get the species diversity from this count, which is quite important. And it would be really helpful. Like this count will be really helpful for the long term because species richness and abundance is what we try to analyze when it comes to long term. Um, Next is time constraint counts. Time constraint counts is so we take 30-minute counts in a particular area, and we note down the number of species and the number of individuals, and if it's a male or a female or anything like that. And yeah, so it helps in species richness and abundance, which will be helpful even for the long term and the short term things because you'll be able to understand population dynamics also. Um, But yeah, so normally when we are doing the count, uh, so for example, we would do a weekly count in NCBS. NCBS is National Center of Biological Sciences in Bangalore. Uh, there we uh, would do 2 hour counts, which would include 4 of 30-minute counts, and we would already have a fixed path. So we would go around the same path and change. So we we don't do the same 30-minute counts as we move along. We just keep changing. Um, so what exactly is species richness and species abundance? Species richness is the number of different species in a given area, such as a region, ecosystem, or a biome. Um, and species abundance is the number of individuals within each species that are found in the same area, which will be helpful for us to analyze more about the population of uh, butterflies and diversity in them. So this is an experiment done by ATRI. ATRI is Ashoka Trust for Research in Ecology and Environment, which is in Bangalore. Um, so this is a graph of a blue tiger butterfly. So, so you can see a clear spike like at September, but you can see the number of individuals increasing in July, August, and September. And so this is the season when they migrate. So blue tigers and crow species, they migrate from eastern Ghats to western Ghats for breeding. And uh, I have seen like huge populations of these crows and and blue tigers, especially in Bangalore in the end of July and all. I guess you would have also seen uh, around your place another butterfly which is black with white spots. That is more prominent. Um, yeah. So with data like this, we can actually see where sometimes in which direction the butterflies are also moving. Say, suppose we actually have this data from different places in Karnataka, say, suppose Bangalore, Mysore, or Mangalore, and all. So if the numbers are increasing in this particular areas, we can understand that they're actually moving in that particular direction, increase or if it's decreased, they're not. So but the research in this is like quite low. Not a lot of people are working on this. So we are restricted to Bangalore or like few other places. But it helps to understand the direction. Also, it helps the climatic changes in different areas and where we think they like where we predict that they are moving and all. And also about the plant diversity in that particular place. Um, Moving on, the correlation of plant diversity and butterfly diversity. So butterflies are phytophagous. Phytophagous in the sense they feed on plants. Uh, so as I told before, every butterfly has its own specific host plant which they feed on. Um, and basically, these butterflies feed on the nectar of the plant, like the flowers, both male and female. Um, Males at least mud puddle, but females don't. So, but that is for a different reason. So the proboscis length, the proboscis is the tube which they actually suck in the minerals and nectar and all. The length of the proboscis tube also matters when they're trying to, suck in nectar because that in a way uh, define the fitness of the particular individual. Say suppose if its proboscis length is quite like small and then it won't be able to feed on any of the nectar. So it would die. So the morphometries of the butterflies also matter sometimes. One of the examples is the proboscis lung. And sorry, moving on to the plant diversity itself. Yeah, so they have host plant. This is an example. Uh, this is the crow, which I was telling. This also migrates from Eastern Ghats to Western Ghats. This picture is from Bangalore, if you can see this. And its host plant is curry leaves, which is a quite common plant when it comes to Bangalore and South India. Right? So yeah, so actually we can determine the plant, like we can get the data of plant diversity also if we know the butterfly uh, uh, species diversity or its richness in place because they're codependent and it can go vice versa. So butterflies are important indicators of climate change because they are temperature sensitive. So even a small change in the temperature will impact them. Say, suppose the temperatures are increasing, probably they would start to migrate to different places or they would be inactive uh, and or probably they would try to use their wings to like they can't use their wings. But based on the color in their wings, the absorption varies. Um, and rapid adaptation is like by actually migrating to different places is what I meant by rapid adaptation. Habitat dependency. Butterflies are, yeah, dependent on the plants. So based on the plant diversity in that particular place, you can and so plant diversity is also dependent on the uh, soil fertility and the water availability, the minerals and all. So in a way, everything is interconnected, and we we can get to know this by butterflies species diversity in a particular place and short life cycles. Short life cycles matter because we can see the change in an animal in a very less time, uh, which will help us to analyze the climatic change quick, and we have to take uh, efforts according to that because climate change is a very prominent issue presently. And yeah, sorry. Yeah. So because of this, there are many threatened species. Like I showed before, Kesar Island is one of the threatened species. And this list was released by Wildlife Protection Act. This is not the complete list. This is just a screenshot from a website called Biodiversity of Butterflies in India. This website is actually uh, like done by my professor in NCTS, his Krishna Vaikunte. So yeah, so this is a part of the list of that. So yeah, because of the climate change, we are losing out on a lot of butterfly species. So if we are actually losing out on a lot of butterfly species, which are endemic to India, then we are losing out on the uh, plant diversity, and which again is a factor of soil degradation and etc. So everything is interconnected. That's why it's butterfly studying about butterfly. We can actually study about the climate change, and yeah. So mostly, that's it. I'm done with my talk, and these are the references uh, where I picked all these things from. And I would like to thank Reactive again, and also my professor from NCTS, Krishna Vaikunte, who gave me the opportunity of working in this field in Arunachal, which was a very beautiful place and should be explored by more people. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, it was a nice session. So, participants, do you have any questions? If you have any questions, you can raise your hands. So, you can ask your questions here. I have a doubt, ma'am, actually. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, heard about species in butterflies, right, ma'am?
Mm.
What about mating, ma'am? Will they mate with same species or else with a different species they mate, ma'am?
They mate with the same species. I've not seen the case where they mate with different species. Mm. Anything else?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm Raghavendra here from ISRO. I just want to know what is the role of sunlight in life cycle of a butterfly? Because generally, when the sunlight is bright and we see a lot of butterfly activity, so how does actually the sunlight uh, help in their life cycle?
Uh, yeah. So sunlight is required for any of the metabolic processes. So it so that's why you see them more active and they bask in the sunlight as much as possible. So that's why you see, yeah. So that's why there is more activity in the daytime, and there's no activity in the night at all. Yeah, that I guess I answered your question. It's it's basically it's because they're cold-blooded. They uh they they won't be able to regulate their metabolic activities, unlike us. Humans are warm-blooded, and there is already thermoregulation going on. But when it comes to butterflies, they are cold-blooded, and the thermoregulation does not happen, and so they need heat and sunlight for the processes to actually carry on in their body.
Yeah, what is their feeding pattern for a butterfly in its life cycle?
Feeding pattern? Okay, so after like when the butterflies are in the caterpillar stage, they feed on the host plant leaves, and then they start making. So they would have after they feed themselves enough, then they form this chrysalis, uh, and then the butterfly forms, and then butterflies mostly feed on the nectar from the host plant itself, and the males feed on the minerals and dissolved salts which they absorb from the um, damp places or like dead animals and all. Mostly this. They don't feed on anything else.
Okay, I have one more question. With
Mm.
respect to butterfly migration, do
Yeah.
they follow the same route year after? I mean, or how is it the butterfly migration taking place? In the sense, how do they follow a specific route? Unlike in bird migration, where there are many theories about how birds actually find their way during the migration. So, do butterflies have some sensories which were help in their migratory routes?
I'm not really sure about because this is a very recent like research topic which is done by my professors. But it's a very like normally we see north to south like uh, uh migrations, but this was very different because it's from Eastern Ghats to Western Ghats. But I don't know about uh like how they direct themselves. I'm not sure, but there are a large number of these butterflies which you can see in Bangalore and all during July, uh, August, and September time, even in June mid. But I'm not sure about how they navigate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any queries? Any other queries? If you're unable to ask questions, you can type in the chat box. Okay. Okay. It was really a nice presentation, ma'am. Yukta, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Yeah,
your time.
Sai, just this is Gurappa from ISRO. She is my daughter. I thank you, Creative, giving the opportunity and platform for my daughter to present. So they requested Supriya and Srinath. They allowed me to give the opportunity. Thank you. And my deputy director Raghavendra sir also is there. So thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Okay, nice, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sai Madhuri, there was a question on navigation related. In fact,
Yeah.
there was one talk presented in Mysore University by one of the experts on butterflies. He has presented exclusively on this migratory nature of butterfly, which
Okay.
originates from Sringeri regions of Western Ghats, and it ends at the Tirupati hill ranges. That is, it takes around 6 to 8 months to move this particular distance, where a number of like life cycle, one butterfly will lay egg and they will die, then they will grow up. Like that is one talk is there in YouTube, just for
Okay.
the benefit of the
Yeah.
question which was asked, maybe for Yukta also,
Probably.
she can.
Yes.
Yes,
This is a new
yes.
field for me also. Yes.
Another
Thank you.
information is Kn Ganesha has developed one website called as a Patanga, which is part of GKVK project, where people can take a photograph of a butterfly, just upload in the Patanga website. It will tell you about the nature of the type and nature, name, and which region of the country these butterflies are found. Also, these two information
Uh,
are just
Also,
inform.
Yes, sir.
yeah,
And
Actually, I wanted to
even
ask you
the,
a question, sir.
sorry.
Continue, ma'am.
No, so there is a website called Butterflies of India also, which does, so they are, so it's been there for almost like 8, 9 years, where people actually uh submit their 30-minute counts and the species diversity in a particular place and all, and you can actually submit your photos and all. So this is actually is by my professor Krishnamay Kunte. I guess a lot of people contribute to this also, which is similar to what Srinath uncle told about Patanga. So yeah.
Yeah, you have something like eBirds, like for
Yeah,
birds of Bangalore. You have eBirds, right? So
yeah, I guess this website actually satisfy like it's similar to eBird also, because you can submit your uh, observations and all, and you can clearly see the number of submissions in the species and all these things. The data is completely transparent to everyone in this website also.
yeah,
There is
it's
a
actually a
website
very
for
nice talk.
moths also. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, a very nice talk, very informative. I just wanted to know which is a can you suggest a good field guide for birds of southern India? Sorry, the butterflies of southern India, because I have a couple of guides, but they don't comprehensively cover the butterflies of southern India. So you can
Um,
suggest some field guides.
I'm not really sure. I guess you might find people in Butterflies of Bangalore. The so they have been collecting data from almost like 13 years, and they're very active. But I don't know. I don't know of anyone apart from
That is
them.
the field guide of butterflies of Bangalore, is it?
Yeah, a lot of people they go on treks into different places in Karnataka for just for the photography of butterflies also. And they have, I guess, 13 years of data from JPRF, the JP Nagar Reserve Forest. So they are quite active. Apart from that, I don't know anyone uh, that much.
So there is one field
Excuse me.
guide called P.
There are
Sheshadri. No, no, one
Excuse me,
second.
sir. Sir,
One
sir.
second.
It's me, Manjula Shastri from Mysore Science Foundation. Sir, if you need to ask about means you must be knowing about Sir Isaac from BHNS and founder of Bombay Natural History Museum. He has written a book, very beautiful book with the so picaresque, and he has written a detailed study of the Indian butterflies.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I have been to Samilan Shetty's butterfly camp last time September, during September, and he had luckily we could meet him because he had certain time to come over there, and he had given a very detailed talk about this the butterflies of India. He had published a book from BHNS only, and it is one of the best books you can go through. And one more, Raghavendra sir asked about the sunbasking. The males particularly will be mud puddling and sunbasking they do because they need to get the energy for their muscles, small muscles to fly over. So they always, between this time, they always, you can see mud puddling or even sunbasking, there will be more in the number of the males, whereas the female, just to attract them, they need lot of energy. So there will be a kind of competition also. It's one of the wonderful scene to see, to visualize. So it would be, the reason is to get energy for
Oh,
their
okay, okay,
Yeah,
flying. Yes, sir.
okay, okay. So
No,
this is
yeah,
two
basically like
points I
metabolism.
you
want
have
to bring it
the
here.
pre-mating displays.
Of course. And
Okay.
sometimes they need some mud puddling, they need sodium and certain minerals also. So they get from the soil and the wet regions and marshy regions. We can see them nearby river.
Yeah. No, I want to bring it
Yes.
here. Two people name P. Sheshadri, who was an Eginal student who spends a
Uh,
lot of his time in Agumbe forest, where he takes the students for biodiversity camp. Not only
sure.
butterflies, he covers most of the biodiversity of Agumbe region and as well as our
Yes, yes.
Devarayan Durga forest region. P. Sheshadri, who is very
Yes, sir.
active.
Even I heard.
And second one is Kalgundi Neven, who is also a bird, what you call the recorder. He records lot of bird movements, all those things. He has written a book on bird using ISRO maps. Also, he has used to create a encyclopedia of birds. He's a high school teacher or primary school teacher. These two people who deal with the birds as well as the butterflies, who are
Yeah,
writers.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I have a book on book edited by Madhav Gadgil on
yeah.
the Krishna Megha Kunte. I mean, authored by Krishna Megha Kunte, that birds flies of peninsular India.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but none of these actually books actually discuss much on the migratory pattern or the sensories that are used for getting the directions. The very less has been discussed about the migratory pattern.
There is a paper by Krishnamit Kunte on migration.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So yeah, I I didn't work on it, so I don't know a lot about it. So, but there is a paper by him, so you
Okay.
can
Okay.
refer that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
You
he
can share
does.
sometime. So
Yeah, yeah. He does discuss about the migration and the local movements, but not in great detail. Like the
Yeah,
way a lot of
mhm,
work has gone into the migration pattern
of
in birds.
birds. Yeah,
I don't know in
the,
butterflies.
very less people are actually working in butterflies. Like very few people in India. One of the prominent ones are Krishnamit Kunte, and I don't know. I guess even a person, Ullas from I said Trivandrum is also working on this a bit. But apart from that, there are a lot of photography enthusiasts and all when it comes to butterflies, but not as much as birding. So
Mhm.
there isn't sufficient work done on migration of butterflies. There might be others. I don't know a lot of other people, but yeah.
But I don't know
Yes,
if
ma'am.
anybody has really tried radio coloring butterflies. I don't know. I mean,
So
I don't know.
I did like for like 15 days or something, when the population of these blue tigers and the crows were increasing. So we were catching and writing numbers on the hind wings of these butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
But so we got around like more than 100, mostly those things. But then there so we recaptured only one butterfly out of all the 100 butterflies. We were trying to understand a direction or like how much we could recapture, but after that, there weren't anyone who were doing the same uh thing from other places. So it was difficult for us to actually, get the data or anything analyzed from that.
Yeah, that is true because making sensors which are compatible with, I mean, see, as such, the mass or the weight of the butterfly is so low, so the sensors that needs to be developed also has to be paper thin. So
Yeah,
I don't know whether we have a technology right now. For the birds, it is okay, we can still do, or even for the animals. But for the butterflies, I don't know.
it's
Maybe in future, if the technology comes up where we can have sense radio coloring of uh, butterflies. I don't know. It has still now not happened.
Yes, sir, because they are taking a lot of good part in the whole the food web and everywhere to life to sustain. But in spite of that, much too, the study has to be taken in. Really, it is much needed. I think Yukta ma'am is also admitting with me. We need it because the bees and butterflies, they are such a wonderful. Only for photography, the people are more interested and bent towards, but not about their study. There
I
should
think,
be.
yeah, that is
true,
something that
very true.
uh, Yukta also pointed out, and
Yes,
the
sir.
importance of watching butterflies or keeping a documentation of butterflies should not
Yes,
only
sir.
be only for the eyes, but it also makes a lot of
Of
difference in
course.
the environment. They are
True.
very good indicators of certain changes in the environment.
Yes, sir.
I think that should be driven. It is not just out of passion or out of interest or a hobby, but there is a scientific reason why we need to study about these butterflies, follow them, and keep a very good documentation about their presence and absence. See, presence and absence has been done in birds, but it's
Yeah,
equally important for butterflies as well. Presence and
Sure,
absence of
sure.
butterflies in a particular region.
Very
there
much
are a lot
needed.
of bird watchers, like many people, but compared to that, butterflies photographers are like quite less. But yeah, there should be a lot of work done, and since it's a very new field also. And similar studies have actually started based on damselflies and dragonflies, which
Yes.
is
So,
a budding research idea.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. Yeah, ma'am.
Yukta
Really.
ma'am, what inspired you to do this, ma'am?
Nothing.
You got interested in this actually.
I'm mostly like trekking, and I like nature, and I just realized I can't sit in a place and work a lot. So I just wanted to be in nature more. So, yeah.
The
Okay.
better, once you start, you really get interested in that. It's such
Yes,
a very
ma'am.
beautiful experience to be in search of butterflies and studying and going. It gives
Yes.
the whole nature before us and also the life of butterflies. Their wonderful way when even before larva and also the egg state also very much interesting.
Yeah. So we would actually, I didn't mention about that. So we would actually collect few uh, particular particular plants, so that we could actually grow it in Bangalore to find out, like, to feed a few butterflies so that to see if they can actually grow in this particular environment and all. and we would try to actually capture some caterpillars also there
Yeah.
to understand the host plant and butterfly relationship. But Arunachal and all is like really beautiful place with very rich
Really.
nature. And Arunachal, like Northeast is a very unexplored area.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of rare species to be found there. You won't see such diversity in Western Ghats and all.
Okay. Thank you. Let me end this session now. Thank you, Gurappa sir, for introducing your daughter to our collective. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Manjula ma'am, Raghavendra sir, and Ashinath sir for your extended information. Thank you, Yukta ma'am. You tried to present well, and your presentation was really beautiful. Thank you so
Yes.
much, ma'am. So let me wind up this collective weekend session now. Thank you, one
Yeah.
and all, for participating in this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhuri.
Thank
Thank you,
you. It
Yukta
was an
ma'am.
excellent,
Thanks,
Thank you.
excellent
Raghavendra sir.
presentation by Yukta.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Yukta ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Many
Yukta.
are there from myself, Pune. I will ask our friends also to present such good topics in future.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. So nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raghavendra sir.